Well, I am super excited because today I have a special guest, Donna Nado, who is also a mindset coach. And Donna and I have similar stories. And so I really I'm excited about talking both of us as to, we both come from the corporate world and just really talking about why we decided to make the move into entrepreneurship and what kind of like what caused us a juncture in our lives. Donna, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Lou. Thank you so much for having me here. It's always a pleasure, to speak and do these podcasts with you. I really enjoy it.
I love having those conversations. Like we were talking about right before we hopped on, and I was like, I could do this all day. I love having coffee chats with people.
I feel the same way.
So, Donna, when, like, let's talk about you first. When did you leave corporate? Yeah, when was that?
Well, I left corporate. Well, I've been in corporate for 25 years, a little
Oh
over
my
20, so a
gosh.
very long time. And I guess with the pandemic, that probably started the wheels in motion that, I was reevaluating my life and how I felt and if this is what I wanted to continue to do with the rest of my life. Because it was scary times and, we didn't know what was going to happen at that point.
Mhm.
So it was a good place to reevaluate. And I was home, so I had plenty of time to do that. So I guess I was thinking about it. I was unhappy and unfulfilled within myself, I realized, um, in different areas of my life. So I joined mentorship and I had mentorship with Bob Proctor. I joined as in their program. I was mentored by him and I started really looking deeply at myself and what I want to do with the rest of my life. And that's how it started. And then I joined in 23.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And my
What
my
about you?
story is a little bit similar and different at the same time, but both of us, I think, had junctures happening during COVID as well. Um, my first career was teaching, and it's very funny because when I look back at my life, all my careers kind of shifted whenever there was something external that happened. And so I love teaching. I was teaching French in high school. It was a lot of fun, and I really liked it. And one of the things, it's very funny. One of the things I always promise myself is like, I will always be teaching as long as I love it. I never want to be that grumpy teacher that's still here waiting for retirement because if I'm not excited about it, it's going to be really hard to teach those kids. But one of the things that happened is there were budget cuts that happened in our county, basically for our school system. And so they cut down my programs. And for me, the whole like fulfillment was to be able to see the kids go from like knowing zero French to being totally fluent, like literally fluent by the time they got to French 4. And that was so like fulfilling. Just you could see them grow, you could see them like, whoa, they got this. We did this in 4 years. And so when they took out my French 3 and 4 and all I had left was French 1 and 2 and they told the other kids to basically do online for French 3 and 4, I was like, I don't learn a language online. And I was like, okay, this is a sign to change. And this is when my official corporate career started. And actually, it's very funny because that's when also my personal development journey started. Because at the time, I got together with a friend and he was really big into personal development. And I was struggling to transition out of teaching into the corporate world because I was labeled as a teacher. And it was very hard to make that shift. And if it wasn't for personal development, I don't think I would have been able to make that shift, honestly. At the time, I started studying like Think and Grow Rich, and we studied like John Canfield together. We just did like a lot of like really, just a lot of studying together. And it gave me the inspiration, okay, I can do this. And I manifested a job that was kind of, yeah,
Congratulations. That's
tied
good work.
tied to like because I always wanted to keep that intercultural aspect in my corporate job, right? And so I ended up landing a job where we were bringing people from overseas and I was helping them with acculturation, visas, and all these things, right? So it was kind of like connecting point and did well, did really well in that job. And because of personal development, right? I thought I could do anything. This is very funny because I look back, my mom was like, how are you doing HR when you do nothing about HR? And personal development doesn't let you like shut down things like this, right? You're like, no, I can learn anything. And so I went for this and I became the head of this company for in HR within about 7 years, right? So this really attests to personal development. But then I kind of like I had two kids and I was like, okay, I want more quality of life because unfortunately once you get to leadership, like balance becomes balance is
It's a
a thing.
struggle, work life.
Work life. And then I got into different organizations and continued in healthcare, hospital systems, and then banking, and got COVID hit, got to a crisis. Very much like you, got to a crisis and was like, okay, this can't be it. Because Donna, when I decided, you know what, I don't want to be in leadership, I want more work-life balance. I took a step back in my career, right? But then I got bored out of my mind. I had a good job, but I was so bored, Donna. I was like, this can't be it. And personally, my marriage was not going well either. And this is when I was like, there has to be, like, something has to change. And that's when I re-met Bob, so to speak, because I had been aware of him. My friend at the time who introduced me to personal development actually did the Bob Proctor coaching program too.
Mm,
And so this is funny, right? And then so I
yeah.
re-met Bob kind of like in 2020. I can't remember, 2020, something like, I think it was 2020, right? And really, that's when my whole, like, I took a deep dive, did, all the training and everything. And this is very funny because I remember attending some of the live events he had. And you know how they always offer at the end of those live events, oh, you could become a coach with us, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, no, not for me. Could never be a business owner.
Oh, I'm so surprised. This is the first time I'm hearing this from you. I didn't
I was
know
like,
that
I
about
can't
you.
be a business owner. I'm too scared. I know nothing about business. The paradigm was so strong. But little by little, because when you start really working on yourself, you realize, oh my gosh, I just have this like paradigm about being a business owner. And finally, when he said, you could be a business owner enough times, I
You
was like,
started to believe it.
this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because, when you look at my career path, it was always like, okay, when you look at teaching, it's always, teaching others, inspiring others, helping them achieve more, right? HR is also the same level, but I felt very restricted in what I could do in my career, right? Because it's within the confines of the corporate world. So, yes, I could help those managers, I could do all these things, right? But it was so within a box. And I felt so limited. And I felt, especially since I was diving into mindset so much, I was like, there's so much more I could help these managers with, but I can't within the confines of my job. And finally, like, I think after 3 times, right, of hearing Bob saying this, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
it.
you had your aha moment for sure. I know, once you
I have
got into this personal development and it really makes you look at yourself and see what you're capable of. And forget about what society thinks we should do and how we should work and what the plan should be from day one till you retire. And
yes,
this personal development just puts a whole different spin on it, right?
yes.
You realize the potential that you have inside and that you can change your life, and it doesn't matter what you've done before. The past is the past, right?
Hmm.
Is what happened with you. You went from teaching to corporate to business owner and mindset coach.
Yes, and it's all thanks to mindset. I honestly, especially the way I was raised, right? Coming from France, the culture is very much around you pick a career and this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And that's literally the mindset, right? That's the
Yeah.
mindset that we have and that I was raised with. So if it wasn't for personal development, I would have never been able to do this. I definitely give full credit, and I'm so thankful for Bob, right? He changed my life in drastic ways, professionally, clearly, right? But even personally, because I remember being at that crisis point in my marriage, and within I think 2 to 3 weeks, everything shifted thanks to his teachings. Literally, I was like, this stuff is gold. And I was like, I have no better way to describe this than like I'm in love with this. That's what I want to be doing because it is so powerful personally and professionally.
I have to say, as far as the marriage goes, my marriage has changed totally as well. I mean,
Yeah.
this, as you start changing and as you start living in this high vibration, and if you start um, changing your paradigms and just loving everyone around you, and the more you're giving, the more you're in gratitude, the more you're in joy, the more you see the best and you look for the best in other people instead of looking for their faults and pointing fingers and blame. The
Mhm.
relationship has to change. It has no choice. I mean, my husband and I, we would have our fights and things like that, and then he wouldn't speak to me for a few days or so. That's the way he is wired, and I always like to talk about things, but we never fight. We never fight anymore because I won't fight back. We learn our standards and how we want to be, and if we want to keep ourselves in the right mindset and in gratitude and in love and in joy, so we can attract what we want into our life. We have to change, and it forces the people that you love around you to change as well, because you're
Mhm.
either going to match the frequency of the other or they drift out of your life,
Yeah.
basically. But
Yeah.
yeah, my marriage is the best that it's ever been
Yeah.
now. You know,
It's I really think, when we dive into mindset, I don't think we realize what it is. I mean, it's such a big word, right? Mindset
yes.
is such a big word, but it has the ability to shift somebody's life on all levels. And I will say your happiness level as well is one of the
Oh, for
biggest things.
sure.
Um, and we think, oh, it's just, stuff in your head, but really, when you change, and I know I think mindset is such a big word, it's so hard to use sometimes, but when you change your mindset, it changes the way you feel, it changes the way you think, the way you look at the world, and it changes your behavior. So ultimately, actually, the physical world completely changes, right? I mean, I've seen my husband even change his behavior thanks to mindset, and I didn't tell him a peep. This was the funniest thing, right? I did all the work. I didn't say a thing to him. I didn't change anything, right? Other than me doing the work up here. And literally, I saw his behavior literally changing in front of my eyes. I was like, whoa.
I know it's the same here. It's amazing, and I mean, I know I didn't try to teach him anything either,
No,
but
I didn't even say to him I was doing anything.
I know. Well, my husband was doing this. He would listen to he would hear some of the lessons because I would have them going. So he was kind of like getting some of it into his mind, but really he is so much happier too. He is so much more supportive, loving,
Mhm.
and like I said, we don't argue about anything. Like we still have disagreements. We might not see eye to eye, but now we know how to speak about it and talk about it, right? Because I'm different because
Yeah,
really our outside world is a reflection of what's going on inside of us.
yeah,
So, right,
yeah.
that's so true. So if I'm thinking the worst of him, could be a parent, a child, whomever. That's what
Hmm.
you're going to get if that's what you're expecting from them. If you're expecting the best from them, it's one thing we've learned. If you like look for the goodness and the kindness in everybody, and only that, that's what you get back.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very funny because I even think about my husband has since done the program too, right? He's done what I teach to my clients, and it allowed him to like have a much, much better job. So, like, if you're looking to get a better job, like this is the thing you want to do. He was, I think, he got like a very significant increase in terms of pay, and he got a job like it's just 5 minutes from home. Really just I mean, it has been, and he was stuck before that. He was stuck in another job, right? He was literally stuck in a job. And after he did the work, right? Sure, it's not like you snap your finger, it happens. But I'm telling you, like you do the work, as the months go by, like things just fall into place. The opportunities show up. And it's because he did the work too. So he embraced it afterwards, right? But at the beginning, he did not know. But even when I look back at myself, like, man, if I had known um, how like to use mindset for my own career path when I was still in corporate, whoa, the things I could have accomplished. That is, I chose ultimately the business route, and I am not about to change this. But if I had really, I remember times when I was looking like, okay, how do I get to the next level? Like I feel stuck in my job. I want to get to a leadership, back to leadership and all of this, because this went through my mind at some point in time, right? When I was in the corporate world. And I didn't feel, I had some of this imposter syndrome going on. I didn't feel like I was like, well, I qualify, but I don't, right? All of these things. And if I at the time had really applied the mindset, oh my gosh, I could have landed any of the jobs I wanted. And when I started my mindset journey, I actually think things opened up because I was in this particular division and I had just started the mindset journey at the time. And well, at least with Bob, when I re-met Bob, I should say, not my original mindset journey, but when I re-met Bob. And they were, even without me, like really just really starting to dive into this material, they decided to create a whole new division and picked, we were six people out of all the HR professionals that they had. And I mean, we were like hundreds who applied, okay, for this opportunity. I just raised my hand, and out of all these hundreds of people who applied, I was selected. I still don't know how. And I'm telling you, it had to do because I was starting to really dig again into the mindset work. Because I'm going to be honest, after I had grown in HR and everything, I got lazy and I didn't continue the mindset work. And that's why at some point I got stuck again. I was like, why do I feel like, what do I do next? Right. But once I started the work again, when I re-met Bob, all these crises had happened, right? Doors started opening, like positions just created out of nowhere.
Your story is amazing. I didn't know all this about you. It's just, but it's true. Like what you're saying is true. That's what
Yeah.
happens. And you've heard it from countless people, the same thing. And look how you succeeded and how you grew and how you were selected over hundreds of people. And that wasn't your background. Okay,
No.
your background was a French, you were a French teacher. So it's,
Yes.
and these other people, I'm sure a lot of them had been in HR forever,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
truly.
And then, oh, this is funny you mentioned this because, okay. Um, in HR, there's a bunch of certifications you have. Now, I did trainings, okay? I took courses and did like this, but I was like, I always put on the back burner getting my HR certifications, okay? Just because I mean, literally, I got thrown into it. I took some courses to actually not make sure I would mess up anything, right? Because that's pretty important. But a lot of the time, like a lot of the jobs require either a certification or they say certification preferred, right? I never got my certification. So out of all those people who have their certifications, you know, I still got picked. And so that is really a test of mindset. Like it has nothing to do with your degree, what's on paper, the job market, the competition. It has nothing to do with that. Your mindset will get you the job and will open doors, will create jobs for you.
That it's just so true. I love this story though. It's such an inspiration to anyone that's going to listen to this because I've lost a job because I didn't have the right mindset. A job that I really wanted that there was no reason I should not have been selected for, and I was actually selected for it, but then there were some internal changes being made within the department, in the management section of the department. So it was taking a few days, and I let my mindset just go totally the wrong way. I was imagining the worst. I'm not going to get the job. What's happening? They must have picked somebody else, even though it was all set. I bought all the clothes. I was all set to start working like on Monday. And the recruiter did tell me I did end up not getting the position, and it was a short thing, like it was there. Otherwise, I would not have went out and started spending money and buying clothes and everything. But she told me she's the one that said, "Did you ever hear of like law of attraction, law of vibration, and your mindset?" She goes, "That's why you didn't get the job."
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's the first time I heard that. I did not know about this stuff, right? And I heard that, and that's when I started digging. You know, your story reminded me of that, and I started digging into, finding out about, mindset and how it can, enhance your life, bring you all the things that you want, or it could create a life that you don't want, and how you use your imagination and your mental faculties and things like that. And she did me such a big favor by telling me that, because I didn't know anything about it. And then that's when I started, like, through the years, just listening to videos, like most of us do, right? We get an introduction, we listen to
Mhm.
videos, but it
Books,
didn't help me
videos.
to,
Yep.
yeah, but it didn't help me to actually apply it. I was
Yeah.
more aware of it, and I tried to stay, change my perceptions and be in a more positive frame of mind. But it wasn't until I actually, you know, got in and was coached and understood the material and had, Bob, our mentor, actually show us how to apply this material and teach this material, that now it's really, just changing my life totally.
Wow, Donna. You know, we need a whole other session just to talk about your story. I think that's what we need. In the meantime, Donna, where can people find you? Because we definitely need another one because we didn't get
Yes.
to hear enough about you. I was talking about me today.
That's
Um,
fine, because I learned so much about you, and it's always so interesting, right? We learn from each other, and it's inspiring either way. So, but I'm always
yes,
here to have another conversation with you. It's a lot of fun, and it's just real stories,
yes.
for people to hopefully, they'll get something out of it, because it truly changed both their lives and the relationships,
Oh, yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
and how you feel about yourself inside. That's always a big thing for me. I was feeling unhappy, and this whole journey has changed me inside. I, love myself. I believe in myself. I'm happy every day. I don't let things bother me. So yeah, there's a lot to it, but we'll have to get
I
into
like
that
that.
another
So
time.
next week we're gonna come back for another one, and we're gonna do another episode, just Donna and I, and finish at least talking about our corporate careers.
Yes, yes. We didn't even get into too much of that as well.
Yes,
There's so many exciting things to speak about with this material. But if
there
anyone
is.
wants to reach me, they can, on Facebook. You can reach me at donna.nadeau11.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Perfect.
and
Can you
my
say it one more time?
Gmail, excuse me,
Can you say it one more time?
it's donna.nadeau11
Okay, on Facebook.
on
Perfect.
Facebook. And my Gmail, I'm on Gmail as well. And it's donna.nadeau11 at gmail.com. It's the same.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Donna.
Thank
And
you for having me.
we're gonna come back next week, okay?
Yes, it's fine with me. I could do this all the time. I love speaking with you, and I love speaking about this work and just trying to help people, right? Hopefully, we're
Yeah.
giving them tips, and they can see how mindset can really change your lives and your relationships and
That's
everything,
what it's about. That's exactly what it's
money,
about.
everything.
Yes. Thank you,
All
Donna.
right,
Talk to you
thank you.
soon.
I'll be back next week, everybody.
Yes, next week. Don't go anywhere, anybody. We'll be back.
Thank you.